Dee, stay with us. We're also going to bring in CNBC contributor and big technology founder Alex Kantrowitz, also at the Google event. Alex, I guess your big takeaway in terms of what Google needs to achieve in terms of persuading consumers and investors that they can actually thrive in this world without giving up too much of their dominant search business.
Well, look, I think the main message that they needed to convey today was that they're in reinvention mode. I think that we crushed Google a couple of years ago for being slow in the generative AI race. Now they've come all the way back. This event today was all about generative AI from every single angle and every product. And if you're going to stay competitive in tech, you need to reinvent yourself over and over again. And I think the market is going to make Google pay basically a penalty for reinventing itself for a little bit. But think about the alternative. If you're Microsoft and you don't reinvent yourself and go over to the cloud, you got Windows and you're in the desktop operating market. If you're Google early on and you're not reinventing yourself into a mobile operating system and a browser, you're a website. So this is the natural progression for every big tech company that wants to stay competitive. And I think the thing that was reassuring to me today was we saw Google say, okay, generative AI is the thing. We're going to go all in. Now, are there going to be some speed bumps along the way from here to there? Absolutely. Is the market going to punish the company in spades like they are today? They're not taking the stocks, but the stock is down today on a day where Google's made many impressive announcements. That's going to happen. But ultimately, I think people shouldn't forget about the big picture here, which is that it's a reinvention moment for Google, and the company is not being shy and, in fact, putting its foot on the gas pedal.
I guess that's certainly true, Alex, but it's funny how in a vacuum, everything that Google is demonstrating today and the progress they've made, the investments they've made, the products they've produced, maybe would really pass muster as being as good or almost as good or better than what's out there in terms of AI competitors. But the problem is they have the best business ever created at their core. And so it's hard to make it seem like anything but playing defense and a net negative, I imagine.
Well, look, this is what's going to happen, right? So we are going to see the entire tech industry make this move. This is going to be a major opportunity. We've seen all the tech giants increase based off of this, maybe, outside of Apple. So the high margin search business, okay, it's definitely going to take a hit. Even though right now we've seen ChatGPT grow and Google's been crushing. So how big of a hit is still yet to be determined. If you're a fan of what Google's doing, you believe that the opportunity is bigger over time. Because if you think about it, if generative AI fizzles right now, then all those competitors and the competitive threat is gone. But if generative AI keeps growing at the pace and the extent to which it is, then you're looking at a much stronger Google because it has the resources, it has the researchers, it has the products that it's going to build this technology into. And importantly, we think about the margin, right? It's very cheap to serve a Google search compared to a generative AI search. Everything's becoming more efficient. So ultimately, that's a very positive picture for the company if this works. And again, what's the risk to the downside if it doesn't? I don't think it's much.
Yeah. And Dee, I guess, there has been some comfort taken, I think, among people maybe within Alphabet or investors in the stock to say, in terms of the revenue producing types of search or web activity in general, Google will still have an edge there. If you're looking for a particular business or a link, that's different than the, ask ChatGPT an encyclopedia question about the past.
Right. I mean, Google's been masterful at this. They've been so dominant in that search business. And I agree with Alex in that really the theme is reinvention. But where I might differ with him is, are they moving fast enough? Are they being bold enough? I mean, I touched on it when I talked about AI overviews, AI mode, Gemini app. I mean, they have all of the technology, the full stack to succeed here. But are they embracing the narrative as quickly as they need to? Versus, a Perplexity or a ChatGPT that are thinking about ad models in a totally AI native way. Can Google shift that quickly when it has this big innovator's dilemma, this legacy business that has been so profitable sort of hanging over? And that's what I think investors are trying to sort through. Can it transition that for an AI first world? And, I still think about those comments from Eddie Q just a few weeks ago, with the kind of suggested the window is closing. They're being disrupted. There's more urgency than ever for Google to figure this out and embrace its reinvention versus being dragged into it, right? The difference between playing offense and defense.